thought he was a freak.
Going on a walk.
In the middle of Oxford. He's in Oxford again. This was our last morning at the Old Bank Hotel, so we decided to have a bit of a lie-in this morning and then get started out a bit later than normal, and it was raining heavily. So our first port of call for the day was the Oxford Botanical Gardens in the rain. These botanical gardens are one of the oldest scientific gardens in the world, founded in 1621 as a garden focusing on growing plants for medicinal research. Today it contains over 5,000 different plant species across 4.5 acres, and a lovely heron was on the riverbank looking at us. So there we go. It is one of the most diverse yet compact collections of its kind in the world, and includes representatives from over 90% of the higher plant families. Henry Danvers, the first Earl of Danby, contributed £5,000 in 1621 to set up this garden for the I have no idea what word I've anyways, so for the furtherance of learnings, I wish you could see what I've typed. Anyways, for the furtherance of like knowledge and study and learning about various plants, etc., and what their medicinal purposes were, he chose a site on the banks of the river Cherwell at the northeast corner of Christchurch Meadow, belonging to Magdalen College. There's some autocorrect going on. It says Magdalen Collected. Could it be Mary's? Anyways, it's by the corner of a college on the river. 4,000 cartloads of muck and dung were needed to raise the land above the floodplain. And we've very much stuck to the glass houses, as you have seen, as it can't rain as much inside, but it is equally as humid inside as to out. These contain the conservatory, the alpine house, fernery, tropical lily house, insectivorous house, palm house, and an arid house. Having done this, we skipped down to Marks and Spencer's to get some snacks for the day, and then skipped back to the hotel where we picked up the car and started making our way towards Blenheim Palace. So we'll talk about Blenheim in a minute. Welcome to Blenheim Palace parking lot. We were trying to find a decent spot closer to the house than half a mile away. And we said someone had a fresh hip, so um, top tip. Anyways, so Blenheim Palace, built between 1705 and 1722, was designed by Sir John Vanbrugh and named after the Battle of Blenheim in 1704. It was originally meant to be a reward to the first Duke of Marlborough for his military triumphs against the French and the Bavarians in the War of the Spanish Succession, which ended in the battle near the town of Blenheim, which today is in southern Germany, but wasn't at the time. The land where the palace sits was a gift, and construction began in 1705 with some financial support from Queen Anne. Now, at Blenheim, they told us that the land was a gift, and Queen Anne gave Sir John Churchill, the first Duke of Marlborough, it's going to sound weirder every time I say it, £240,000 as a gift for winning the battle. And he was married to Sarah Jennings. Unfortunately, there was political infighting between the Queen and the Churchills, causing a fallout between Queen Anne and Sarah Churchill. And at the time, around kind of 1712, they went into a voluntary 3-year exile and they went to the continent. This also included lasting damage to Sir John Vanbrugh's reputation as well as an architect, and so he kind of fell out of favor and wasn't asked to design many more houses afterwards. So that's why this design of the English Baroque style are few and far between, along with different property he worked on Castle Howard. John Churchill, the first Duke, was born in Devon, and his family belonged to the minor gentry rather than the upper echelons of society. John married Sarah Jennings in 1678, and Sarah, kind of through most of her life, had been great friends with Princess Anne, who of course became Queen Anne in 1702. Sarah was then made Mistress of the Robes to Queen Anne during her reign. During the War of the Spanish Succession, Churchill gained a reputation as a capable military commander, and in 1702 was elevated to the Dukedom of Marlborough. During the war, he won a series of victories, including the Battle of Blenheim, and the Crown gave John Churchill the tenancy of the Royal Manor of Kensington, the site of the current palace. John and Sarah Churchill returned to England the day after Queen Anne's death in 1714. Sarah actually would have preferred to have had architect Sir Christopher Wren to build Blenheim, but John had a chance meeting with Sir John Vanbrugh at a playhouse and commissioned him on the spot to design Blenheim. Vanbrugh at the time was a popular dramatist and an untrained architect who usually worked with the trained and practical Nicholas Hawksmoor. The duo had recently completed the first stages of the Baroque style Castle Howard. Sarah was much more aware of their financial situation than John was, as he was off campaigning, and she was after a more comfortable home that paid a fitting tribute to her husband, but Vanbrugh was after building a monument. Sarah often criticized Vanbrugh's grandiose ideas and the extravagance behind them, as she was the one paying the bills. Following their final altercation, Vanbrugh was banned from the site, but in 1719 he managed to view the house in secret, and then Vanbrugh's wife actually tried to see the property when it was open as a viewing to the public in 1725, but Sarah refused to allow her to even enter the park. The Baroque style of Blenheim never truly caught on in the public's imagination and was quickly superseded by the revival of the Palladian style. On their return, the Duke, now 64, and the Duchess decided to complete the project, and he decided to do it at his own expense. And so in 1716, the work resumed, and the project relied entirely on the Duke's own money. In 1717, the Duke suffered a severe stroke, and the Duchess took control. Master craftsmen such as Gridley Gibbons was employed by Vanbrugh. He refused to work for the rates paid for paid by Sarah, and the new craftsmen were brought in by the Duchess, and furniture makers designed by James Moore, and the Vanbragh's assistant architect Hawksmoor completed the work. The Duke passed away in 1722, and completing the house became Sarah's sole focus. Hawksmoor was recalled in 1734 to design the arch at the entrance to the park from Woodstock, and he also completed the interior design of the library and the ceilings of many of the staterooms and other various details. The Duchess eventually completed the great house as a tribute to her late husband, but the date of completion is actually unknown. The last recorded date is in 1735, when the Duchess was still haggling with Rysbrack about the cost of Queen Anne's statue that's placed at the end of the library, which you did see a picture of. There is one there. Blenheim remains the only country house in England that holds the title of palace without being owned by the royal family or by the church, as it was a royal gift from Queen Anne, and she granted the land and funds to build it, and was partially commissioned and partially funded by the crown, and the estate earned the royal title of palace. Along with, they have a symbolic rent agreement with the crown, and to this day, the Duke of Marlborough pays the British monarch a rent in the form of a silk flag with 3 fleur-de-lis on it, which is presented at Windsor Castle each year to commemorate the Battle of Blenheim. The 4th Duke of Marlborough decided to extend and beautify the gardens, so he brought in our delightful friend Lancelot Capability Brown, who you've heard of him before. He widened the River Glyme by digging out the valley, flooding it, and then damming it, creating the stunning lake which we see today. The lower parts of the Grand Bridge were deliberately submerged underwater, along with a man-made waterfall, the Grand Cascade, all of which was dug by hand, with the soil being lined with watertight layer of clay, which this took over a year to fill, and supposedly sheep were allowed to walk over the layer of clay, compacting it to make it more secure. Should, I suppose, mention Miss Consuela Vanderbilt and her marriage to the 9th Duke of Marlborough, as it was key in keeping Blenheim going and responsible for a lot of the updates that happened at Blenheim. Their marriage was a well-known example of the advantageous but loveless marriages common during the Gilded Age. The Duke obtained a large dowry through the marriage and reportedly told her on their honeymoon that he had married her only because he felt obliged to save Blenheim. On the tour, they told us as well that Consuela insisted that indoor bathrooms be installed at Blenheim before she arrived, and so they were. But upon her arrival to the palace, after they'd been married, she was presented with the bill, which she then had to pay. During the marriage, she became a popular and influential duchess. For most of their 25-year marriage, they actually lived separately and officially separated in 1906, and with their divorce finalizing in 1926. They had 2 sons, and when she passed away in 1956, she insisted that she be buried at St. Martin's Church, which is actually the parish church for Blenheim Palace. Consuela's mother, Alva, was determined that her daughter have the highest ranking mate possible for her only daughter, and Alva arranged a meeting between her daughter and the titled Charles Spencer Churchill, the 9th Duke. Consuela had made plans to elope, and when her mother discovered these plans, she actually locked her in her room, and it is well documented that Consuela stood weeping under her veil as she was married to the Duke. He would have collected about $2.5 million when they got married in 1895, or around $91.6 million as per a 2025 ranking as his settlement for their marriage. They were married in Manhattan in 1895, and her father had mostly made his money in steamships and railroads in the United States. But the Gilded Age was famous for these sorts of arrangements, and the wealthy American girls were somewhat after the titles, and the men needed the money to keep their estates going so they could be handed down and passed down. These days, Blenheim hosts a triathlon with the swimming occurring in the lakes built by Capability Brown and the biking and running parts around on the estate as well. Blenheim Palace currently has lots of works going on, as you probably noticed, on the roof, and hence the masses of scaffolding that you would have seen in some of the pictures. And it's currently sitting at around £13 million to fix the roof, which, whew, what a roof. They're also, I think, fixing, like, if an eagle's beak has fallen off the stonework on the top, or if a claw has fallen off and things as well. So they're also fixing a lot of the visual things as well as practically fixing the roof. They also had the library set up for a wedding that was happening this evening. So there's another idea for a wedding venue if you feel like doing that. Then we ran off to Diddley Squat Farm. We only went there briefly as A, it was Monday, and B, it was after 4:30. They close at 4 and they're closed on Mondays. So, huzzah. And then off to Hastling's house. And we didn't stay there very long at all. And I'll see you tomorrow.
Now turn left. In 400 yards, turn left towards Chadlington. Now turn left.
More and more
In
intriguing.
300 yards, you will have reached your intermediate destination. The intermediate destination. Left and then turn right. In 200 yards, turn right. Then you will have reached your intermediate destination. Now turn right. Then you will have reached your intermediate destination.
Diddley Squat Farm Shop. I think we
You
found the
have reached
festival.
your intermediate destination. The intermediate destination is on the left and then turn right. In 80 yards, turn right and then turn left.
Oh, I think she's coming to talk to her. Yeah.
Now turn right and then turn left.
Hello, Linda. That would be helpful.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
We just want a picture of me with the Diddley Squat Farm sign, and then we're leaving.
around then.
Yeah.
If you can't go to the car park, it's actually closed off.
We know.
And we have no clue. We're from Calgary in Western Canada.
Oh yes, what's cereals?
What does cereals mean?
Cereals is an agricultural trade event which happens every year in the UK, but on different farms, different parts of the country. So it's just for people who are in the agricultural business. So it's anything.
So like Kilnsey Show, but not Kilnsey Show.
Maybe. So which is Diddley Squat Farm
Well,
Shop? Is it
it's
this
right
one?
there.
Diddley Squat Farm Shop. It's tiny.
It's tiny.
Yeah,
We just
and-
wanted a picture with the sign. And
Yeah.
Jeremy, if he's around. I'm just kidding. Could you ring it? No.
probably far away from here, and I don't blame him.
Yeah, so that is our mission, and then we have to get back onto where we're actually supposed to be going.
Right, okay. Well, yeah, you've got a sign there. I mean, you could
Oh,
park
well,
up next to the toilets, maybe.
Yeah. But yeah, it's very dull.
yeah,
Really.
so we'll
We
only,
just left Blenheim, and then, you know,
yeah,
Yeah.
we'll only be 5 minutes, and we're going.
we're not very exciting.
No.
This isn't very exciting. I know he's known all over the world, and I think he's doing a great job for the farming industry in general. But he's just a guy.
Yeah, well, exactly. He's just
and
a
it's
human.
just a farm, and it's just a farm shop.
Yeah. That's why we weren't bothered if the farm shop was open. Like, I don't want some of his jam to take home to Canada. I'm not that bothered.
I think the fact that he's called it diddly squat probably attracts more attention than
Probably,
it
because
does.
probably North
Yeah.
Americans don't know what, I come originally from Yorkshire, but probably North Americans don't actually know what diddly squat means.
Exactly.
Do you know what it means, Ashley?
Nothing. Very little.
Okay, you do know what it means.
See?
Well done, you're bilingual.
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
Yeah, I know diddly squat
Yeah.
from a Yorkshire girl.
Yeah.
Oh, you're from Yorkshire too? Well,
Well, we'll be in Yorkshire on Friday.
yeah.
Whereabouts?
We're going to just outside York, a little village between York and Selby called Kaywood.
Okay, I'm not familiar with Kaywood, but I been born in Yorkshire. Obviously, I've visited York many times.
Yes, lovely
So I
city.
used to work and live near Leeds.
Uh-huh.
So that's my origin.
Okay, sounds good.
Oh.
All right, well, we'll get these pictures. I'll have to put my
You know what?
shoes
Why
on.
don't you drive around and park in the disabled bays? And then if you want to, well, it's just because the farm shop's
Yeah,
closed,
close.
it
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah,
matter.
doesn't matter. Yeah.
You can take the pictures there. If you want to walk around the other side of the shop, you'll see the barn, and you've got the big sign with Clarkson's Farm in yellow on the
Oh, okay.
wall.
Brilliant. Yeah, we'll
you
do
can
that
have a look
then.
inside the barn, round the
Yeah.
other side, and then you've got this one as well.
Lovely. Brilliant. We've done that.
Yeah.
My friends will be a bit jealous.
And the security people were helpful.
Exactly.
But yeah, I would suggest just driving there for now.
Okay. Lovely. We'll do that then.
Okay.
Thanks,
All
Linda.
right. Disabled spots there.
Yeah.
Okay, so like this woman's crazy. And there's a rooster. Some
And you can
yellow
get your
birds.
cow juice refilled in the
You
cow
can
juice
take a picture of
refilling
that.
machine.
I should put my shoes on. I bet we're the easiest people she has all evening.
Oh yeah. Disabled. Go round the barn.
That's typical of us, isn't it? Don't give her any, Ash.
I was trying to do an I'll cut and you pick scenario, but I just didn't want you to go down the side of the car. Okay.
I'm gonna move it.
Well, that was cracking good fun, Mother.
Yeah,
We couldn't have done better if we'd come while it was open.
if we'd tried. And we've only had it on the agenda for 15 minutes.
In 40 yards
say
at
to
the
me,
end
bye
of the
to our
road,
buddy
turn
Linda.
left. Now turn left.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Enjoy your.
We will, thank you.
every single one of FGH vehicles will have FGH group.
And we know what cereals is.
In 200 yards, turn right.
We've been to cereal